Guys, welcome back to Gardening with Creations by DX & Co. Today I thought I'd just do a quick update video on my garden, a little quick garden tour, show you what's happening in my garden, what's working, what's not, and give you guys just a quick update on that. So bear with me, let's get started. For starters here, let me pan out a little bit here. Rosa Sharon is in full bloom on this particular one, so attracting a ton of pollinators. That one in particular has just grown huge, lots of greenery this year, but nothing blooming yet. Usually blooms late August, so it'll help as well. But let me show you guys around what's going on here. So celery plant back there is doing phenomenal. Just that's from one of the cuttings we did earlier. Carrot tops are going crazy here. Haven't harvested any carrots just yet. I did have a mole problem, so I'll be lucky if I actually get any carrots from that. They probably were eaten by the moles. Our squash is just insane, and you can see all the volunteer tomatoes grew up right in between all of my squash plants. But the squash really took over this area here. This is 4 squash plants that just went nuts. Unfortunately, mostly male flowers, didn't get a ton of female flowers off of that. My tomato plants are insane. Upwards of 7 foot, 8 foot high right now, and growing out. As you can see, I need to stake this one up here, but going really crazy. Look at the size of these are cherry tomatoes. This is a cherry 100 tomato plant, and just massive growth. It's been so hot though that none of my tomatoes have ripened yet. This is the first real red tomatoes of the season that I'm getting. In the greenhouse I got some volunteer tomatoes that ripened within the last week. Some cherries that are a little bit smaller, but wanted to show you guys the size of these cherry tomatoes. It's just crazy how big they got this year, just because it's been so hot that they didn't ripen. They just kept getting bigger. My beefsteak tomatoes are doing very well. Prune those up. Things got so heavy that I actually had to support these plants with an extra stake and not just my regular string method. So it's just because the fruit got so heavy on these things. Over here you'll see cucumber vines just along the entire fence. This area is starting to die off, which is probably because I have some giant cucumbers in here that are probably telling the plant, you know, that it's time to fruit, but that's okay. We got lots more. I'll do some cutting back. We had a really heavy rain the last 2 days, so they might just be feeling the overwatering here. So, but show you guys my bell peppers. You can see this one's forming little tiny green bell peppers. Look at these yellow peppers. They grew in like this, guys. Amazing, huh? This is part of the mixed bell pepper variety. So this plant and this plant came from the same seed packet. This is growing just pure green peppers. These ones are all yellow. Amazing. Most peppers come in actually green unless you have a special variety. Look at this green bell pepper here. A light. Awesome. So I got these 3 bell peppers just doing phenomenal coming in here. Got these jalapenos, just phenomenal on this plant. The bigger they get, the spicier they are. I've tested them on a few stages now. You've got some phenomenal jalapenos here. These are Greek pepperoncinis. I haven't tried those yet. They just got that big about between the last couple of days. So another Greek pepperoncini, you can see them all on there. So the peppers are doing phenomenal with this heat this year, and doing okay next to the cucumbers. I just keep them, every time I see a vine coming this way, I move it another direction. These are all my apple and pear trees. still doing phenomenal in their pots here. Just get watered daily with the rest. I find that the little bit of shade that's provided by the Rose of Sharon actually is helping them, so the leaves don't get burnt. Let's see, what else do we have going on here? It's just enormous amount of strawberry plants and runners that are taking over. What I've been able to do is, you can see all of these runners are coming out into my pathway. I've been able to take some of these smaller trays like this and get them to root in those trays, and then I'll snip it off and then I'll move them over here, and you can see I'm starting to propagate the rest of my bed. You guys may remember I had all those collards here that really got taken over by those small green and gray caterpillars, and so I ended up getting all those out and just put them in here. That eggplant needs to be picked, as you can see. I already had picked one this season off this one. You can see this eggplant is just doing phenomenal. Eggplant actually likes nitrogen, so I planted a green bean right next to it as a companion plant, because they give off the nutrients that the eggplant needs. So tip there, and then these are just doing phenomenal this year. Now, when I was given these by my neighbor, I was told that they were the white cloud variety, so that they were pure white. They're all purple. I did have a white cloud variety last year, so I know this isn't it. I think he just mixed it up. So, but those are looking good. Blackberries came in nice this year. Got a couple off there, those, but the raspberries are finally starting to turn color off that plant. And you can see one of the squash here, butternut squash. This tomato plant was changing varieties first, and then dill is doing phenomenal, and we've even got some dill friends in here. Show you guys. These are caterpillars that turn into butterflies. We've got about 4 of them in here just feasting on the dill, and we've got so much. We've made pickles, as you've seen that video. Lemon tree's doing very well in here. Still growing. Lettuces didn't do this well in the late summer, so we're harvested a little, but we'll be pulling those and the arugula out and doing a fall set of lettuces as well. And lavender is doing great here. The one seed sprouted. It's doing really well in this container, and I'll probably bring that inside over the winter to have some lavender in the house. But yeah, that's a small garden tour, and then I'll take you guys in the back and show you the back beds as well. So now we're in the backyard here. Here are some, this is a cherry tomato plant doing very well. As you can see, I didn't prune this one, and it's in a container, so it stayed rather dwarf, if you will. It didn't get very tall at all. Same with the beefsteak. The beefsteak actually has stayed really small in this container, and I haven't been pruning these at all. They are out in full sun, and they do get watered every day at the same time as all the rest. But they're still doing very well, putting on fruit. None of them are ripening, unfortunately, yet. This is that volunteer tomato plant that we replanted as it was already this big, and you can see it just stayed phenomenally large. I told you I just planted it right into soil from the backyard. I haven't amended this with any other soil. The only thing that I have done is watered it with used fish tank water for some nutrients, which I do all my plants. So it's still doing very well, so I figured I'd give you guys an update on that. My green bean plants are doing phenomenal back here. Really crowded, actually. In fact, there was right here in the dead center a marigold plant that was about as large as this one. I pulled it out and put it in the rock garden because it was crowding this area a lot. I put a little trellis on the back for the beans to climb. This rainstorm actually sunk this into the ground and it's tipping, so I'm gonna have to do something about that. But this container is one of those self-wicking containers. Pipes in the back, I can't even get to it, so I've just been watering the top and it's doing just fine. Marigold back there is blooming, full bloom. This is a pumpkin the neighbor gave me. Not doing so hot, but it's doing okay. Pepper plants are doing okay in this raised bed as well. This is starting to put on fruit. You can see the green bell peppers are doing very well. This is a squash plant that had some squash about this size on it. The squirrels and such are taking them. I did a little bit of light pruning on this, got rid of some dead leaves as the newer leaves were coming in. You can see a big bite taken out of that. The squirrels and such are taking those. And we're starting to get some ripe. The volunteer tomato plants, by the way, actually are ripening faster than the other ones. Everybody said volunteers don't put on fruit, but I'll tell you, this year they're ripening faster than my from seed plants. This is a San Marzano tomato. Look at the shape of those. They're really more for making paste. I did have one of these turn red. I actually had it sitting on the table to take in the house, and the dog got a hold of it. A little disappointed about that one, but it's doing very well as well. These are 2 volunteer tomatoes that are still doing very well. Some arugula that I've let go to seed. I'm hoping to collect some of those seeds. Maybe I'll do a video on that. Another marigold. This is a watermelon plant. I guarantee this got put in way too late this season. It was given to me late by a neighbor. So I don't know that I'll get any watermelon off it. I'm hoping for maybe 1 baby watermelon. I'm hoping for maybe 1 pumpkin. I hope we get a late season this year here in Zone 6A. I doubt it, but hey, it's just fun to grow plants, right? Zucchini. You can see there are actually 3 zucchini plants here that were all in the one pod that I planted. It was one of those cardboard pods that you put in that disintegrate, which it has. I did get a few zucchinis off this. You can see we're starting to get some more flowers. This one's doing very well still. I expect to get some more. Like I said, I've got some critters probably walking along the fence line while the dogs are inside and getting into my bed and taking some of my squash and zucchini plants. So that bed's doing very well, guys. Let me take you over here. This is the other side of my garden I was showing you before. I want to show you some of these cucumbers that are growing here. Love the chain link fence. You can see, look at that. Oh, got a cucumber beetle. Look at, oh, yikes. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. I don't know if you guys saw him before he fell down, but I've got some cucumber beetles apparently. That might be aiding to this. That's not a good sign. So I like to pull these out if I can before they get squished in there, or push them through, whatever. That way they have a better chance of growing. But let me show you some of these cucumbers that I got to prune off today. That one's a decent size, right? Okay, yeah. That one's growing through the fence. That one's going to be fun to try to get out. But look at this. That's just like a couple days worth of growth there, guys. Amazing, huh? So I've seen a lot of people posting about yellowing cucumbers, things like that, and people saying they're overripe, they've been sitting on the vine too long. I find that mine only yellow actually when they're not up off the ground trellis. When they're on the ground they start to yellow, that part touching the ground. So that may not be a full truth, but I'm just saying maybe you need to trellis yours off the ground. Might have some bigger growing. Look at the size of that one. Huge back there. I got to prune off. Just a ton, guys. I think I have 10 plants here. They're even growing in odd shapes. And I'm harvesting about this many cucumbers about once a week right now. There we go. Here, let me show you guys. You've never seen one before. That is called a cucumber beetle. So I'm going to have to do something about that. If I find them, I just squish them, but I have a feeling I'm going to need to spray. I found them on the squash plant. They had started to infect my squash plant, and I dealt with them over there, but it looks like I now actually have them on my cucumbers, which is not a good sign. If you can see all these cucumbers, little ones starting to come in here, just gonna have an amazing crop this year of cucumbers. Starting to see some wilt though. The temperatures are actually dropping pretty cool in the 60s overnight now, and in the high 70s, 80s during the day. So great weather for us. Not so great for some of the plants, kind of taking these up and down temps, but they'll do okay. But yeah, just I find trellising cucumbers on the chain link fence if you have the room is just awesome. So I'm gonna show you some of the other gardens, guys. I'll give you some updates. Citronella here is just doing phenomenal. Lemon balm just taking off in this rock bed. Our chives are doing awesome. That's Batman the Beagle. That is our strawberry mint. Love that flavor. This one I believe is our chocolate mint. Can't see the tag. It's buried in here somewhere. Let's see if I can find it. No, I don't know where it's at. Sorry guys, but I can smell it. Oh yeah, that one's definitely the chocolate mint variety. Some purple sage really took off there. That is our peppermint, and that one's just doing really well. That's that marigold I replanted, starting to bloom there. Did really well on the transplant. Some chamomile, we've got lots of them flowered. Need to get some of that in some teas. Lavender doesn't look so hot, but it is actually doing really well. This particular lavender is doing fantastic. Let me show you guys the pond, and I'll show you that garden really quick here. One you guys don't get to see often. Just this particular potted plant is really doing well. Petunia's deadheading, it comes back. Original pond video, for those of you who remember, actually had a calla lily back there. The dogs actually chased the squirrel and trampled it. That is a house plant we got from Walmart, and it has done great in that spot. So probably dig that one up during the winter and overwintered inside. These celosia are these smaller flowers here. Can get very big and bushy, but they grow nicely in this space and stay really tame and small with this light that gets here. These lavender plants are doing very well with the celosia here. Some more citronella plants, some Asiatic lilies. So all these are really doing really well over here, as well as the calla lilies I had pruned back. I did a video on pruning those back. And here's our fish and our pond. The water's a little cloudy. I just cleaned the filter, so but the water will clear up shortly. Swimming around. I'm actually looking online now for anybody who's got a 4-foot tank so I can overwinter these fish. Mine sprung a leak. There's actually, I don't know if I can get a shot of him. There's a frog decided to make himself, there you go, made himself a little home in there as well. So I don't know that I'm too happy about that, but it is what it is. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Just a quick update on some of my gardens. Hope your gardens are doing very well. I hope you guys are enjoying them. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and make sure you guys subscribe and hit that notification bell for some additional content to come. As always, I hope you guys are staying safe and enjoying your gardens.